So I've been in Palm Springs, California for the last week, and I had a meeting with my mastermind group. And these are amazing people with 7 and 8 and even 9-figure businesses. And it's a very, very international group. So we had a number of people, about half the group couldn't travel here because they were in places where you just couldn't travel to the United States because of the pandemic. So we had all kinds of technology. It was half Zoom and half in person. We had a bunch of different cameras to capture the whole thing. It was actually super, super cool. It worked out really well. It was a bit of an experiment, and it was just an amazing experience, I think, for everyone involved. We were able to have the people that were on Zoom out there in the metaverse still feel like part of it, and they felt like part of it to us, and it was fantastic. And it was interesting being in this room of people that just had these incredible businesses, 7, 8, 9-figure businesses. And then just before I came out here, when I was still at home, I shot all these case studies with people that were closer to the beginning of their journey. And some of them have done launches that did tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, and a few of them millions, but mostly I focused on people that were closer to the beginning of their journey. Because I'm shooting these case studies to share with people that are really just coming into my world, and most of those people are going to relate more to those case studies at the beginning. So when you see me release case studies, when I do my launch masterclass, we're less than a month from the launch masterclass. And when I'm in there, when I'm in that masterclass, I love to share a lot of case studies because people can learn from them, and they can learn from the wins, and they can learn from the challenges, but they can also take so much inspiration from them. But it's hard when you're just starting out or you're near the beginning. It's hard to take inspiration from someone who has a $10 million business because it's like hard to relate, right, when you're starting out. And it was interesting. So set all that aside, but I'm also been playing some tennis here in Palm Springs because that's a big thing that happens in Palm Springs. And I just took a lesson like 20 minutes ago. I finished this lesson, and it's amazing how you improve at something when you learn from a trained professional. You know, I've been playing tennis for most of my life, a lifelong tennis player, and we still did a lesson where we worked on some of the absolute most fundamental things of hitting the ball. Where to hit the ball, where on a tennis ball, which side of the ball to hit the ball. I mean, some of the absolute most fundamental things, but just in an hour's time frame, because I was learning from a trained professional who knew how to take me back through those fundamentals. It made a serious impact on my game, on how I was hitting the ball in just an hour, looking at the most basic fundamental things. And I just can't stop reflecting on the fact that I've spent the last week and a half, or let's call it 2 weeks, last week talking to people that were closer to the start of their journey, and now in the last few days talking to people that were running very serious businesses. So one of them well over $100 million business, many of them in the tens of millions of dollars. And yet we still come back to those fundamentals with both groups. You know, you want to get the strategy right, you want to get the tactics right, but the real execution comes from those fundamentals, getting the fundamentals right, and then building on top of them. And so I'm going to take that perspective into this launch masterclass. It starts the first week of November, and that's where I'm going to dive deep, is into those core fundamentals that you got to get right. Yeah, I'm going to be sharing all the latest that's happening in the launch world and some of these brand new case studies, and they're doing some cool new stuff. But the thing I know is when you learn from a trained professional, and I'm going to call myself a trained professional because I've been doing online launches for 25 years now. I've been teaching how to do launches since 2005. When you learn from a trained professional, it's amazing how quickly you can progress. And that's the thing I took from my tennis lesson today. And it's the same thing started taking ski lessons like 5 or 6 years ago. I started taking ski lessons, and Can you imagine that? All of a sudden, I've gotten to be a much better skier. You know, I spent most of my life as a skier without taking lessons. Now, at an age where I think a lot of people are slowing down, my skiing is improving because I learned from a trained professional. So, looking forward to that launch masterclass and showing you not only the latest and the coolest new stuff and the newest news stories, but also digging into those fundamentals so you can get launched. So look forward to that launch masterclass. I still don't have a page for you to go to register for it, but it's coming soon. Registration is going to be free. It's going to be super cool. It's going to be a week long, and I'm going to be delivering huge value to you. And it is, of course, part of my launch. I'm going to be opening up registration for Product Launch Formula, but first I'm going to teach my heart out and try to get you so that you have the fundamentals nailed so you can launch. So I'm Jeff Walker. Wherever you're watching this, scroll down, leave a comment for me, and get ready for the launch masterclass. Let's go get them this week.